On second thought, I am alleging that I knew how much Travis Kelce loved Andy Reid before Travis Kelce knew how much he loved Andy Reid. And
he totally stole your take.
Yeah, well, he stole it, but he got to it late. I said it before he did. I got it out in public before. The asinine true take of that can only happen if real love is there. How about, did you guys enjoy Travis Kelce pulling the Stugotz? When Stugotz is emotional, and you point out that he's emotional, he's got to one-up you by saying, and I cried, even though he didn't cry. Travis Kelce has to be so apologetic that he goes over the top with a lie. I'm not merely sorry. If Andy Reid retired, I'd retire right next to him. Not if Patrick Mahomes didn't retire.
Yep, I'm going to call BS on that as well.
So he clearly knows he's not retiring, so he feels safe saying that.
If Andy Reid retires today, you think Kelce is retiring tomorrow?
Now he has to.
No, he doesn't.
Can we go back to Monday, by the way, where Stugotz was still doing his what if Andy Reid retires and they call Belichick or whatever, and then like 5 seconds after he left the studio, Andy Reid said, "I'm not retiring."
Wasn't
that
remotely
was
a
great
thing.
timing.
Wasn't remotely
You
a
and Mike
possibility.
Florio were the only two people that I saw giving the take. Andy Reid, check it out. He's going to retire this year.
But one of the reasons Stugotz always wins, it's not just because every year only one person or one team wins and he has all 30 of the rest to criticize. That's not the only reason that he wins. The other reason that Stugotz wins is he got that one totally wrong. But he was way out in front of, hey, people, we need to not let Shanahan skate on any of this. He just fired his defensive coordinator, and I thought that defense was good.
Two sides to every story, Dan. I get one side wrong, one side correct.
Stugotz was out in front on no one can let Shanahan rest with this decision that he's made. 2 years ago, we quietly somehow had a Super Bowl decided because no one on the field could stand up straight because the sod was bad. So our measurement system was flawed by that. This year, the measurement system is flawed because we now have the audio of Chiefs players on the field confused and the ref. They're really going to let Mahomes have the ball last? There was a ref on audio saying they've chosen to give the ball to Mahomes.
He was playing for that coveted third possession.
But don't worry, Kyle definitely knew what was going on.
That third possession is important, Stugotz. You keep mocking
It's not
that,
guaranteed.
but it is the third. Like
there was no third
So it's a
possession
fourth
in
down.
the game.
You know what's more important? Knowing what to do with your fourth down after knowing the game scenario and having potentially one more down to either get in a first down or a score.
How are we still doing this?
There's no defending it. There's no defending it.
Thank you.
It's just you
Jessica,
botched it.
what do you mean? How are we still doing this when yesterday you rolled in here dying to talk about that?
I know. I was also off Tuesday. I didn't realize you guys talked about it Tuesday. Now we're on day 4, Dan.
Okay.
But I'm only on day 3, so.
Okay, well,
I'm on day 2.
This is one of the things that's happening.
Why you want to talk about
around here that I have to apologize to the audience.
What's it called when you do one of those songs like a row, 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 and then the next person does row, row? That's us with our overtime takes this week. We're all starting at different points and
you're all
overlapping
gently
each other.
down the stream, and I'm still on the
row, row your boat gently down the stream.
Dan's on Merrily, Merrily.
Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Row, row your boat gently down the stream.
No, Chris, you're doing the same one as Dan.
Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. This is why our timing is off, I will tell you, and I noticed it yesterday. So I was laughing with Stugotz about it before the show. Yesterday, I come in here, broken by Vegas. You cannot be. I had forgotten that in my 20s, I remember I had a flashback to my 20s being with my friends in Vegas as the flight took off, the red eye from Vegas, and saying to them, like bent over with my elbows on my knees as we took off, this is Las Vegas bending over and blowing us right out its ass. This is what's happening. That was 30 years ago how I felt leaving Vegas. I come in here yesterday, and I'm not kidding you, with my blood saturated by margarita salt. I fell to my knees and I tossed the lob to Stugotz of LeBron wanted to be traded to Golden State. And the ball went flying out of bounds because Stugotz didn't know how to talk about LeBron, didn't have anything for me. You know what happened today? He comes in here and he's like, how does Golden State not get LeBron James? How does LeBron James not go to Golden State so that could be the end of his career? 24 hours later, row your boat. Stugotz has something for me on LeBron. I could have used it on air.
But this Vegas thing is like a disease. I mean, I have gotten over the flu quicker than I've gotten over Las Vegas. It just won't leave me. Yesterday I was yelling at Las Vegas, like, get out of me. It won't leave.
I took a nap yesterday that was so strong I got sleep paralysis on my couch.
Really?
Yes, it was terrifying.
Huh.
What is sleep paralysis? Were you cramping
when you're
up?
awake but you can't move, but like you're kind of just like frozen in one spot. It's not good.
On Monday, I went home and I went to sleep. I got home like relatively early, like in the 2 o'clock hour. I was like, all right, I got to pick my daughter up around by 5. So I was like, I got a nap. I got a time for a nap here. I drool napped till like 5:30. I was like late to get my daughter.
Love a drool nap.
Oh, those drool naps are crazy.
In my house, we just call them naps.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju, at Le Batard Show. Do you love a nap in which you drool?
My sleep paralysis demon, by the way, was just Stugotz.
Thank you.
Jess, have you ever had a hangover for 3 days before?
Yeah.
So this is not as drunk.
This is nothing new.
This is not as drunk as you have been then.
I have never been this overtired, I think, for 5 days, though. This is this part, not so much.
Can you explain to me? Because I thought the Vegas flight that I had was bad, Stugotz. I've told you before, I don't know how the executive decisions get made on serving beans in a flying tube for 5 hours. Like, you cannot do that because some people are rude and they take advantage of the fact that you don't know who the farter is. And I don't know who those people are.
Sorry.
Those people are wildly, wildly inconsiderate. Stugotz thinks that he muffles those farts. He said he thinks he's got a technique to keep those under
into the cushion.
Into the cushion. He does.
Wah, I had to sit in first class. Wah, they serve me beans.
By the way, you can pre-order in first class, and you can get a cheeseburger if you like. I mean,
First class farts smell different, though.
I'm just telling you, these farts, I don't understand how they were serving beans in any part of the plane. You can't serve
This fart
beans.
pairs well with a Chianti.
That's how I felt. Flying for 4 hours, I felt like I had a face full of fart in me for 4 hours.
You know what I had in coach? Someone just threw pretzels at my face.
Do you call over the flight attendant to wave the air away from you?
I will tell you when I started flying first class, it was after flying coach from China with someone who was eating fish on the plane. I'm like, I will never do this. 14 hours of fried fish. But the reason I bring it up is I thought I had a terrible flight from Vegas, and then Jessica, who's been following flights like no one in America, told me the story of a flight, Stugotz, in which, and I can't believe this is true, maggots were falling out of the overhead onto passengers because, was it a Delta flight?
It was a Delta flight from Amsterdam to Detroit. Maggots started falling out of the overhead bin onto people. Apparently, it was in a passenger's carry-on bag that had rotten fish inside of it.
oh.
How does that get through? Put it on the poll, please, Juju, at Le Batard Show. Do you expect rotten fish to be kept off the plane by airport security?
You're blaming these security gates?
Stugotz, I can't
it's a piece of food.
Stugotz, I can't get a bottle of cologne or a lotion on the plane. You can't allow a rotten fish on the plane. They're stopping me. I've got all sorts of clearances that I can get because the government has all my information, and I can't get a bottle of lotion on the plane. You can't allow a rotten fish on the plane.
They actually ended up turning the flight around, and according to people, upon landing back in Amsterdam, the carry-on was placed into another bag and burned.
Like a bonfire. They took it out back.
It smells so gnarly.
I mean,
we are setting it on fire.
The most unpleasant flight I've had in my life was 14 hours next to somebody who was pulling fried fish out of a bag, an exotic fried fish of some sort. And it can't, I mean, come on, Stugotz. Do you like how often is fish being cooked in your house? Does fish is a problem under all
Every
circumstances?
Night, Lehman catches a snapper, he fillets that bad boy, fries it up, we eat it. But it's fresh and it smells delicious, Dano.
It smells good in the house. Fish can smell bad even if it's fresh, but overhead maggot fish, on a tube, on a flying tube that now has to go back to Amsterdam. You're already headed from the Vegas equivalent internationally to Detroit. Like, that's a bad flight.
How far into the flight were they? Do you know?
2 hours.
Really?
So they had to go back 2 hours to Amsterdam and burn the bag.
God.
Because maggots are falling out of the sky. Lucy, you want to clear the vibes in here? You want to clear the fish smell in here? You want to make it a little...
Breathe in and don't smell fish. Hold it. Breathe out. One more time. Breathe in and breathe out.
I will improve the vibes here by pointing out to Lucy that Caitlin Clark is about to have the best day ever, which means that Lucy's about to have the best day ever because there's no one who makes her happier in the world than Caitlin Clark.
I hate that you only left me about a minute to talk about this, but that's okay. I'll bleed it into the next segment. I have zero problem doing that. Tonight, Caitlin will most likely break the all-time scoring record in women's college basketball. She is 8 points away from being the all-time leading scorer. She's only like 200 or so points away from being the all-time scorer, men's or women's. We're playing kind of a team that's Michigan, not doing their best right now. It should happen in the first quarter. It will be such a remarkable moment for women's basketball, for me personally, which is the most important part. Courtside seats are going for like $10,000 a pop. This is like one of the toughest tickets to get an event, like get into. It is going to be such a good day for me. It's going to be a great day for Caitlin. It's going to be a great day for everyone. I'm so excited. 8 p.m. tonight, they play Michigan.
You still have 45 seconds.
I know. Well, I went through it really fast in my head because I looked at the clock and I was like, oh my God, well, I can't talk about everything that Caitlin means to me. Like, she's changed my life. She's changed all of our lives. She's changed women's basketball. She's changed college sports in general. Like, it's kind of tough because you sit here and you get to watch this run. And let me just tell you, I think the scoring, it's kind of getting to her head a little bit. The record, because she hasn't played her best the last few games. Kelsey Plum came out and was like, girl, when I had to do this, it was really tough. People didn't really think about, what I was going through. So I'm happy that Caitlin's just going to get it over with tonight. She gets to do it in front of a home crowd, and she's going to be the all-time leading scorer. That's amazing. Everyone should be cheering right now. Everybody clap.
Row, row, row your boat
Row,
gently
row,
down
row
the
your boat
stream.
I would die for you, Caitlin.
Merrily, 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 merrily.
Like Lucy said, Caitlin didn't have her best quarter on Sunday, and Kelsey Plum, who holds the record, actually tweeted at her before that and said, congratulations on the record and really your entire season. I appreciate what you do for the game. Much respect and love. See you at the next level, hopefully sooner than later. Caitlin proceeded to not score the 8 points she needed to beat the record, and then Kelsey Plum quote tweeted and said, my bad, next game.
And you got that Mulkey saying that nobody on her team shoots 40 times a game.
Actually, you know what? This is a good segue because there's something I've wanted to talk about here. Cheryl Swoops, women's basketball legend, has been starting a lot of beef with Iowa fans, Caitlin Clark fans, coming out. This has made me so upset, but it was like a few weeks ago, just come out and being like, Caitlin's doing this in your 5th year. She's had all this extra time. She's got 40 shots a game. Just some of the same narrative we've heard from Kim Mulkey and other coaches around the country, which I don't understand why you hate Caitlin. She's amazing for the game. She's growing the game. She's amazing to watch. Caitlin's in her 4th year. She lost time because of COVID. She's doing this, like, if she had had that full season to start off her career, she would have done this faster and more impressively. Like, it's one of these things that's been weird to watch, like, and I know I'm so biased because I love her so much, but I'm like, how could anybody hate her? And it makes me so angry that people aren't rooting for her. She's amazing.
You say it's weird to watch, and to me, it's something I've gotten tired of over 30 years, where athletic greatness, the way that we cover it now, is so poisoned, contaminated. You got to have takes that basically anyone who's doing anything great is going to be inundated with haters. Look at what's happening all around Shannon Sharp and McAfee and who it is that gets mad about what's happening around Shannon Sharp and McAfee, how much criticism arrives in all sorts of forms in our industry because someone is climbing in a way that makes others uncomfortable and is obvious. I will tell you this, Stugotz, because I mentioned it yesterday. Nick Wright is going to get and should get an enormous amount of money from Fox. One of the great joys for me of watching his ascent from Kansas City radio, Stugotz, he's at the parade hugging everyone before it becomes tragic. From Kansas City radio, no one gets to make this rise, and the zig that he has done while everyone else is zagging is simply to believe in LeBron James and Patrick Mahomes during this time because everyone else is figuring out the ways to try to tear them down and tell you, hey, he's not Jordan. He's not Tom Brady. and therefore he's not as great as you think he is. Caitlin Clark is not who. Like, who are we putting her up against? Because you can say compiler 5 years if you insist on hating.
She hasn't played 5 years, though. That's literally a lie.
No, but she got the extra year. So there is something going on in college sports where 23 and 24-year-olds are playing against 18-year-olds.
Yeah, she's in her 4th year.
Right.
She has the opportunity to stay for a 5th year after the season. God, would I love for her to do that. But I don't believe she's going to. Just listening to her press conferences, how she sounds after games, like she's been very open about I'm treating this season as it's my last. So she's not taking that extra time. It's just wild. Like, I have had the most fun in my entire life the past few years being an Iowa women's basketball fan, just like taking in all these moments and enjoying it. And it's something I wish more people would do. Like, we get to watch greatness all the time. We get to watch Patrick Mahomes. We get to watch Caitlin Clark. Like, why don't we just sit, have a good time, just enjoy the things that are ahead of us, because we may never see it again. Boom.
But then, Lucy, you see Iowa fans like making T-shirts that say "Don't be a Cheryl," disrespecting one of the legends of women's basketball, and you see how, like, maybe she was wrong. Cheryl Swoops was wrong in the number of games that Caitlin's played, but it does become a situation where now you're minimizing the achievements of a woman who was a pioneer in women's basketball, and I think you can't take Caitlin Clark out of a wider conversation about how women's basketball in general is covered, especially from the angle of race and the angle of sexuality and all of the things that we've talked about on the show like 100 times. But I think that that is also part of the story here.
Can we discuss this part, though, Stugotz? When you have a pioneer, okay, worth celebrating, where it's not just that she's great, it's that everywhere she pops up now is an event. The idea that we're talking about $10,000 courtside seats for something in women's basketball is a seminal, symbolic achievement.
It's great.
And you can tear it down. And furthermore, in the content industry, Stugotz, you're rewarded for finding all of the ways that that's less great than you think it is, because talking again and again about how great it is isn't good for the content machine. Just celebrating and being like, wow, Caitlin Clark, amazing. Or, hey, Mahomes, you're amazing. Or LeBron, you're amazing. The vibes that Lucy wants around sports are what the vibes should be, but cannot be in the way that we cover sports or in the way that America is right now. We will pollute the escape hatch with all of our criticisms, and we will soak it in our own unhappinesses.
Allow me to help the conversation because I cover all sports the same, like championships and rings. Caitlin Clark has to win a championship. You cannot go down
several Big Ten championships.
She has to win a national championship.
Let my boy cook.
Lucy, you cannot go down as the greatest college basketball player of all time without winning a national championship. You can't do it. You cannot do it. And Caitlin Clark, who is generally considered the greatest player to ever play women's basketball, she's not. You cannot do that without winning at least one title. This is her last opportunity. She's going to go to the WNBA. She should go to the WNBA. But if she doesn't win a title, I'm not certain she'll be in my top 5 college basketball players of all time. How about that?
What? Okay, so here's
helping the conversation. Right. I mean, this is the way it should be covered. Not Lottie-Dottie. Let's all celebrate Caitlin Clark.
This is real equality.
I mean, come on.
Caitlin Clark needs to win a championship.
I love you, but go win something.
I love you less. So here's my take on this. So I'm obviously super biased. I'm not going to say that Caitlin Clark is the best basketball player of all time. She's the best basketball player I have been able to watch in the college game. That's something that, like, it always makes me think about college football, college basketball in a sense where there's such a larger field and it's so much more competitive. Iowa doesn't have any other major recruits. We are not UConn. It's not South Carolina. What she's done is arguably more impressive to me because if Caitlin Clark was not on that team, Iowa would be, in the tournament, probably losing the first round, second round. So I think I get the title argument, but it just makes me want to throw up a little bit.
Lucy, you will, in future generations, be able to explain to the disrespectful kids what Caitlin Clark actually meant to basketball and to sports. I would like to explain to you.
She'd mean more if she won a title. Anyway.
This year, Stu, this year. See you in Cleveland.
Back to you, Dan.
Do you think they have a shot at winning the championship this year, Lucy?
I actually really do.
I want to know what
I was a little nervous. South Carolina's amazing, and South Carolina definitely they're upset about what happened in the tournament last year. When I watched Iowa's game against Penn State, not a particularly amazing team, Caitlin, not her best game. Hannah Stuckey, though, wow, was she playing great. Kate Martin, wow, did she look good. If the surrounding cast for Caitlin can step up a little, it's very tough to beat this Iowa team, I'll tell you that.
Let me clear the air on something. You will never see me in Cleveland. Back to you, Dan.
That's fair.
Quiet as it's kept, we'll never see you in Sioux City either. And we were
Sioux Falls.
Sioux Falls,
That's
excuse
a fine,
me.
yeah.
I'll pay the fine. We'll never see you in Sioux Falls either because evidently everybody. What happened there? How did it all fall apart? He was going from one day to the next.
Well,
He was
it
gonna
all
go.
fell apart because Stugotz never wanted to do it in the first.
No, but he was
place.
ready to do it, and now it's really
Well,
falling
it was-
apart.
it
It's
was-
never going to happen
well,
now, but it was
one of
going
those-
to happen.
I mean, no, it wasn't because he was never. He got everything that he asked for, and he still
And
didn't
more,
go.
yeah.
and he still didn't go. But it ended up being a win because if you follow the local papers, the person organizing it got into a bit of trouble.
Yes.
Carton-like.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And now it's gone forever. It's
My laziness paid off. I mean,
well, it's
In this respect, yes.
that would fall apart with a scam that doesn't involve you is a real upset.
Oh, he would have been tangled up in it.
embroiled.
Yeah.
Stu always had his radar up about that guy.
Yeah,
Stu's like something about
takes
that
one
guy.
to know one.
I did. Yeah.
The place I was going to take this, though, Lucy, because you will one day be able to explain what Caitlin Clark meant to people. I want to show you a quick video right now of Bo Jackson. I don't know what Bo Jackson means to you. Bo Jackson is at an Auburn game, and he is waving a pom-pom. And Carrot Top comes over and wants to take a selfie. And Bo Jackson tells him, hey, how about you live life instead of take a picture of living life, and runs Carrot Top out of the proceedings. Lucy, what do you know about Bo Jackson, about his legend, about who he is? Because I would speak about Bo Jackson the way that you speak about Caitlin Clark.
Well, I know he played 2 sports. I've watched You Don't Know Bo, the 30 for 30, but it was probably like, I don't know, 10 years ago when I watched that. So, like, he's not an athlete. Like, I know who Bo Jackson is. Also, was he the guy that couldn't get rid of his hiccups? I believe that was Bo Jackson.
I think that is true.
Yeah,
That's a
so I
good
know
thing.
him for that as well.
That's
Good
a good
recall.
thing. That's a good thing to remember about Bo Jackson in word association. Stugotz, what are your thoughts there? Play that video again. Bo Jackson insisting that the young people live life instead of take a picture of living life. He's coming over and he
It's
wants
an
to,
aggressive head shake by him.
because he's like, live your life. I'm waving a pom-pom here.
Live your life is awfully convenient for someone that doesn't want to take a selfie, though.
No, but I totally agree. You lose moments because you're stuck in your phone and you're trying to take pictures. Just enjoy the moment and have your own memories. I mean,
You can see his mouth. He's like, no, I'm in the moment.
right?
No.
Yes, enjoy it.
This is clearly happening during the game. So, yeah, say no. You're there to enjoy it. Like, if it had happened at halftime, then I'd be like, hey, that you probably should have just taken the picture and be nice. But, like, I get it.
How
Wait.
about Bo getting in there with a nice, he's cheering right now. He's like, I'm cheering right now. Look at this thing.
Yeah. Pom Pom also sets a perimeter.
You're right.
This is definitely
Stay away.
Definitely a I see both sides thing. If you see Bo Jackson, one of the greatest running backs of all time in college football, like you want to take a selfie.
Yeah.
If you're Bo Jackson-
especially if you're at Auburn.
Right. And if you're Bo Jackson, get the hell away from me. There's gameplay happening right now.
I'm going to be able to explain to people for eternity that there was an athlete who played football and professional baseball. There were 2 of them during that time.
I got so spoiled as a kid. So spoiled as a kid growing up that I just thought it was normal that multiple athletes
Yeah,
would be
same.
playing multiple sports at the exact same time.
Hey,
and
all
being
doing
it
it.
still
Bo
happens.
Jackson.
Jeff Samardzija was my example growing up.
yes.
Oh, the shark.
yes.
Jordan Faison for Notre Dame.
But
Scored a goal in the lacrosse game yesterday.
you say Samardzija.
We had better examples.
Yes, we had better examples.
Julius
Samardzija
Peppers.
pitched
Tyler Buckner
some
also.
for Notre Dame and did some spot starting for the Cubs.
Jimmy Graham.
Didn't-
Hopefully Norchad O'Meara.
I do Samardzija Giants, not Samardzija Cubs.
Did Samardzija play professional football? Did
No.
he play?
No,
He
but
opted
he
for
could've.
baseball. He could have. Yeah, he definitely could have. He was a
No,
great
no.
wide
Again,
receiver.
Bo and Dion did. What do you mean
Yeah,
he could have? No,
they
they
did.
did.
I'm just saying
At a high
there's,
level.
there's modern examples, Dan, specifically Notre Dame ones that I grew
Right.
up with.
Yes.
But they did.
Right.
Samardzija didn't.
When you start with Bo and Dion, you have to outdo Dan there. You
Yeah.
didn't.
Who's the last person that tried? Was it Tony Gonzalez?
Kyler Murray.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That was a whole thing.
No.
Russell Wilson.
Oh.
No, they did. That was something.
You're making a distinction here that I don't think matters.
Russell
Tebow.
Wilson played in a spring training game.